I'm Alex Rayon. I'm from Boost Human. We're a company that works in virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. And the people that worked on this project, there were 3 main developers. It was myself and Marco Lopez and Juan Lopez. No relation, they just have the same last name. And so at Boost Human, our main goal is to bring emerging tech here to El Paso and to make it well known that, yes, El Paso can have emerging technology just like California or New York or anywhere else like that. We can do virtual reality, we can do augmented reality, we can do everything, right? And so just for a little background, all of us are UTEP graduates. We all got our masters, I think at least masters or higher at UTEP. We're all most of us are computer science. And once we had graduated, we decided to get together and make this startup company. As well as when we were at UTEP, several of us used to work for this research lab called ISG. And at that lab, we got our first taste of emerging technology, which what we used to do as our research there was create virtual humans that you could talk to and interact with through virtual reality and augmented reality. It was really cool stuff. A lot of people don't know about that, and just about emerging technology here in El Paso in general. So we want more people to know about that so we can get more recognition and keep talent here from leaving and have more fun stuff like Dynatrax.
Woo!
So right now I have this video. It'll show you some of the projects that we've done at Boost Human. I'll pause it a bit, I guess, but for this first project right here, you can see someone's using a phone and they're looking at like an anatomical model of a body. I'll play it. So this application was called Anatomy AR, and it was a demo application that we made for educational purposes as well. So what you could do is turn on the skeleton, turn it off, see the different muscle sections of the body, stuff like that. And this is using augmented reality. Augmented reality means seeing something on your phone that is virtual overlaid onto the real world. So this application is another interesting one. So this virtual human, we recorded the actual person. We recorded them and we're able to turn people into holograms, and we can turn those holograms into like smart humans, essentially. So the way it works is, once they're a virtual person, you can ask them different questions. So this one was an application for dietitians, and what you can do is he's one of your patients, and you have to find out what's wrong with him, kind of diagnose him a bit. And there were several different agents for this, and they could recognize English and Spanish. But for him in particular, I don't remember what was wrong with him, but it's a pretty fun application. He'll ask you like, so can I eat this, can I eat that? You have to tell him, well, yes, no, you should do this instead, stuff like that. Oh, sorry, and I forgot to mention, this is mixed reality. So if you look back over here, you can see that I'm wearing a headset. It's not a virtual reality headset. This is called the Microsoft HoloLens. And what it does, it's like a screen over your eyes that can place virtual objects on the real world, similar to augmented reality. But instead, these objects actually interact with the real world. So normally in augmented reality, if I drop a ball, it'll just like keep falling. It'll probably go through the ground or something. But on mixed reality, if you have a virtual ball in your hand and you drop it, it'll recognize that the floor is there using infrared technology. It scans the room, and it'll recognize that there's a floor, and it'll bounce back up. So there's a slight difference between augmented and mixed, which Dynatrax tour is augmented reality. And our patients are the dietitian on one side, the expert dietitian, the patient, and then yourself. So this is from your point of view. And then we also created these really neat augmented reality guided tours. There's like this robot arm you can control, move it around, stuff like that. So this is the kind of technology we're using here at Boost Human. And I'll go more into Dynatrax now. So augmented reality and all these other things, they're emerging technology that's pretty new. And I'm sure most of you have heard of Pokemon Go, which popularized augmented reality and gave us the tools, gave a lot of people tools, like free tools, to start making augmented reality applications. So thanks to that, there's a lot of, like anyone can start making augmented reality projects or applications. You just have to start looking into it. And it's a really, really cool field to get into. It's computer science. It's also partially human-computer interaction, which means how do people interact with technology? How can you make that technology improve their lives, things like that. And so with Insights, we started about a year ago developing dino tracks. And at first, we went out there, the very first time Megan took us out there, we were like, so we didn't even know there were dinosaur fossils or footprints or anything here. So we're like, this is really cool. So we did the whole tour, we went through it, we're like, okay, there's definitely something we can do here, there's a lot of potential. And the two main goals that for this app were to make it easy to see the fossils at any time of day, because what I learned through this experience after going many, many times to dino tracks, having to troubleshoot, having to fix things, the footprints appear differently at different times of day. If you go in the morning, it's really easy to see the ones that are like the theropod tracks at stop 2, like right at the beginning. Whereas if you go like, kind of like midday, it's really hard to see them. The shadows mess up like your vision and stuff. And so we wanted to trace out the footprints, the dinosaur footprints, so they were easier to see. And then we wanted to give information about each stop and the site itself, because not a lot of people knew about it. And we're thankful that we were able to do this because it's such a cool project. Like dinosaurs, definitely one of my favorite things. And so putting the content there was an interesting experience. So the way the program works is you take out your phone, you're able to scan the QR code that's there using image recognition. We can tell what image it is, and it should load the appropriate stop for that area. And then it places all the content everywhere. Or sort of. So we had to place all the content for each stop. The way that worked is that we physically went there. For example, the T-Rex at one of the stops, he's at the very top of the rocks. So in order to put him up there, we actually had to physically, on our phone, we saw the virtual object, and then we have our tools to move him up there. But it won't just work if I'm standing right here and the wall's all the way over there, and I just drag the T-Rex up and put him there, it looks okay. But to actually get him to be up there, we had to go up, being careful of the tracks, of course, we went around to the top and place the T-Rex up there, go back down, test it. Is he still there? Yes. Did the calibration mess up? Yeah. Then we have to do it all over again. So there's a lot of, a lot of troubleshooting that goes on when you're doing something like this. Placing the dinosaurs, seeing the text, making sure the text color stands out against the sky, the rocks, everything like that. And then, not just the dinosaur models, but the panoramas as well. They have to be visible. How long should they be out? How long is too long? How short is too short? Creating the content themselves for each stop, we had to get somewhat creative with some of the things because we do have the dinosaur models. The dinosaur models are cool and stuff, but then we want to get the educational stuff out there too, right? So I know stop 3 has a lot of the geologic time scale and things like that, and we have the differences in the rocks in stop 6. Stop 7 has like a multiple choice type of thing where you get to tap like what you think the size of the waves are. So we brainstormed with Megan to come up with all these really cool activities for the application. And it was a really fun process. Pretty difficult at times. It was stressful sometimes because it was, this iguanodon won't stay in place, and I placed him like 4 times or 5 times already, and he keeps moving back, and I don't know why. And the difficulty comes from, okay, why is that happening? Because no one else has done this before. This is something that's never been done. I've actually, when I was researching more stuff about augmented reality and activities like this, like outdoor guided tours, there's, just like Megan said, there's like pretty much nothing with this. It's the first of its kind.
Alex!
My brother's from Colorado, and there are some dinosaur footprints up there. I think part of the dinosaur highway. It's pretty long. And there's some really defined ones out there, and I was like, well, this is Colorado. They're really into outdoors and having like, it's a pretty big city. They have a lot of technology there too. I was like, they must have something, right? Maybe it's not like, maybe something augmented, maybe virtual reality, something, nothing. I didn't see anything about it online. I looked online. Last time we visited, I stopped by real quick. It's just, there's tours as well, but there's no augmented reality, virtual reality, things like that. So we want to bring more things like that here, hopefully. And thank you all for trying it out and going through the tour. I hope you all had a good time. Yes. And I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that one was interesting because the way we did that, or the way I programmed that one, was so that once you get to that part of the tour, it'll turn everything else off and turn that panorama on. And the way that works is that at first it was a little too small. You could actually like walk out of it, and you would be like, wait, oh, it's over there. Like I'm outside of it already. You would see the sky and everything normally. So I had to make it really big so that people wouldn't be able to just walk out of it, and make it bright enough so that it could be seen. But yeah, that's basically how we did that. And it doesn't move. So your movement, you can walk around and see all around it. But I made it so that as long as you're in that area, you won't be able to walk outside of it. Because imagine it like a big sphere. You're like inside of a big sphere, and you're looking at it from the inside. Yeah, that's the basic of it. It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's the basics. Oh, right, so I guess I didn't talk much about it. So the software that we use to create these tours and all of our applications actually is a software normally used to create video games called Unity. And what Unity is you can put 3D models, you can program like steps, and you can create different applications. You can make games, it's mostly for creating anything that's graphically intensive. That's what we use Unity for. And so that, the panoramas in particular, the spheres, we had to come up with our own system of, okay, how does the tour go through like all the speech stuff, and then all the models appearing, and where's the panorama, or where's the sphere going to appear? How do we place people inside the sphere? So essentially, your phone acts as the center, and you're always at the center of every stop. And so it'll be really big and really tall. That way you can't, stretch your arm too far out of it, so you won't get out of its range. You'll just be in the sphere itself. You are like the center, essentially, of the sphere, inside of it. Yeah. Yes. Yes, so the point of origin is your phone, and the application knows where to place everything based on your point of origin. Yeah, it took us a long time to figure that out, so it was a long process. Yes, back there? Are you using GPS at all, or is it just like... So we wanted to keep any connection with the internet minimal as possible, because when we were first going out there, we actually didn't have very good internet, because we're in the mountains, right? So it was pretty tough. But we did, for Android version, it uses almost no internet, I think none at all. It's all self-contained, and mostly the same for the iPhone version as well, though the iPhone version does need to use GPS sometimes because of the image recognition being a little weaker than the Android version. So we use a little bit of like, for example, if you're at stop 1, it'll look at the radius and look at the picture to make sure you're at stop 1. So we did use GPS a little bit on the iPhone version, but not on the Android version. But we tried to keep internet usage to a minimum as possible, as much as possible. That way you could go without having to be connected. Yes?
Could this type of technology be, like how you're doing it, used for like a remote walkthrough, someone logging in, being able to just see kind of on a railroad track, but being able to stop and look around VR or stuff?
I get what you're saying. So we actually discussed something like that. I guess I can't say much about it, but yes, you could ideally possibly transfer this into like a VR setting, but I feel like the interactions would need to be slightly different, or maybe completely different, like the activities, because you want it, when you're developing for augmented reality, you're counting on the person being right there at the place, and so the activities are very geared to being there. But if you're doing virtual reality, I feel like you can be a little bit more fantastical because you're not at the actual place, but you can have it to be, where you're actually looking at the Dinotreks location that you're at. But then you can be a lot more like I said, fantastical. You put like the dinosaurs like walking around, or like change the environment completely, as opposed to doing like the sphere type of environment. You could actually change the virtual environment. It's a very different way to design in terms of designing, but you could also just do like a more simpler type of, okay, I'll take you through the different sites, through the different stops, kind of similar to this one. But if we were going to do it for VR, I think I would like to change some of the activities. Yeah. Yes, back there.
Are you looking for investors?
Good question. So I guess Diana would be she's the the lead contact back there. So if you want to talk to her about investing or things like that, she's the one to talk to. But yeah, she's back there with her hand up. So yes, back there.
Did you copyright this? Have you copyrighted?
Did we copyright it?
Patent?
Yes. So the technology itself, like the software, is not something we created, right? So like the 3D models of the dinosaurs, that's I don't know how to get into it, but it's the structure itself of the platform, I believe, could be maybe copyrighted, but since we're using software that is already created, and we're using that software as like a tool, right? So you can't copyright the tool that's already copyrighted in a way, but I believe the way we've done our platform could be, yes.
No.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome, that was exciting to hear. And so I did want to build on one point that Alex mentioned, and I think we started getting into a little bit, which was the concept of a fully virtual reality tour.